We're going to start today with 12.4a. These are the answers for the multiplication part in the front. I'm not going to go over it as I believe you should know your 4 times table at this point through Reflex Math. So if you want to pause it to check your answers, you may do so now. Okay. So for this first page, you needed to cut out all the polygons A through L in the template, then use the polygons to complete the following chart. So the one that they're talking about is the one all the way in the back that has all these shapes. I'm not going to cut them out, but I will use it here on the side to show you what the answers are looking for. So the first one is done for us, and it's saying the attribute we're looking for is 3 sides. We need to write the letters of the polygons in this group. So polygons Y and Z were the ones placed. So if we look here at Y and Z, oh, there is no Y and Z in here, as I can see. So they did not have it. So sketch one polygon from the group, and you see there a triangle. Up next, we're looking for polygons with 4 sides. So looking at A, that has 4 sides. B has 4 sides. C has 4 sides. F has 4 sides. E has 4 sides. G has 4 sides. H has 4 sides. D has 4 sides. I has 4 sides. J also has 4 sides. L has 4 sides, and K has 4 sides. So all of these polygons have 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to count them all, but each line segment is a side. And now it says to just sketch one polygon from the group. So any one that you like, you could sketch. There's D, my version of D. Okay. Up next, you need to discuss the polygons that have at least one set of parallel sides. So parallel means that the lines are never going to touch at all. And so those would be looking at A. These lines here, so if this line and this line kept going, eventually they would meet. I know that this is not the straightest of lines, but eventually they would meet in a corner somewhere over here. So A cannot be a polygon that has at least one pair of parallel sides, because in this lines too, if we kept going with these lines, it's because they're not going in the same direction. Eventually those lines would meet at some point over here. So A is not one of them. B, however, does have one, because these two here are parallel because they will never touch. And in fact, this has 2 because this one here, these 2 lines are never going to touch. They'll just keep going straight, and these will keep going straight. So as long as they're straight and they're going in the same direction, that means that they are parallel. So B would be one of our choices. C could also be one of our choices because here it has pair and here is a pair. Those are all parallel. You also have F. F could be one because it's here. It has 2. E could be one because even though these lines are not parallel, these lines are going to eventually come up and meet over here. But these lines here are parallel. And since we're looking for at least one set, then that one set is enough. So E is one of the correct choices. Looking at G, this line here shows 2 pairs of parallel lines. So even though these lines are diagonal, they're going diagonally in the same direction. So that means that they're never going to touch. And same with these lines here. So G is one of the correct choices as well. And looking at H, we have 2 pairs of parallel lines also, so H. D cannot be it because the opposite line, so looking here to here, or even here to here, or even if you looked here to here, they are clearly touching here, but not possible with this one. This does not have any pair of parallel lines at all. Looking at I is one of our choices because here, even though they're diagonal, the lines are parallel. They're never going to touch each other. So I is one of our choices. And finally we have J. Okay, so J, these lines here would not be parallel because eventually they're at an angle, and so they're going to be touching each other probably somewhere over here. But these 2 lines here, these are parallel because they are going in the same direction. So these 2 lines here are going in the same direction, so they're never going to touch. So J is one of our answers. And looking at K, K looks like it will be touching here eventually and up here. So it actually has no pair of parallel lines, so K cannot be one of the answers. And L has 2 pairs, so these 2 lines are going in the same direction, and these 2 lines are going in the same direction, so L is one of the answers. So far this is what we've got here. So we have B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, and L. So now we're going to just draw one polygon from the group. So I'm just going to draw the square F just to make my life easier. So now that was one set. So now we want 2 sets of parallel sides. So you're going to see some of these disappear. So really we only need to be looking at these letters because we know that the other letters don't have any parallel sides. So now that we're looking for 2, we have to just decide of these letters which ones go in this group. So first let's look at B. So B has 2 pairs, 1, 2. So B is one of them. Okay, now let's look at C. C has 2. This is 1. This is 2. Okay, now let's look at F. F has 1 and 2. Okay, E was one of our choices from before because this is 1, but unfortunately this one does go at an angle, so E is not going to be one of them. E, you got kicked out. Now G. So looking at G, G has 2 because here's 1 and here's 2. So they are never going to meet. So G is staying in the group. Next we have H. So H has 2. 1, 2. So H has 2. Now we're going to look at I. So looking at I know it might look like they can't, but it does have 2. So looking here, 1 and 2. These lines are never going to touch. So I. Then we're going to look at J. So looking at J, again, J did have this one. These are parallel, but these are not going in the same direction. See how this one's a little bit more lifted? So because of that, I know that eventually J is going to touch lines over here. So J got kicked out. And last but not least, L. So looking at L, L has 1 and 2. So those 2 lines are never going to touch. Okay. So these are the letters that we stayed with. And now we just need to draw one of them from this group. So I'm going to draw H. Now we're going to look our group is going to get smaller again because now we need right angles. So I'm going to only look at the ones that have right angles. So we know A doesn't have any right angles. You're looking here, B does have 4 right angles. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So B does have 4 right angles. So that's one of them. Then C has 4. Let's see. Okay, then we're going to look at F. F has 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles, so F. Then we have G. G does not have, if you look there, okay, these are less than a right, and this is greater than a right. So, and this is greater than a right, this is less than a right. So this is greater, less, this is greater, this is less. This is greater, this is less, this one is greater, and this one is less. This one is less, this one is greater, this one is less, and this one is less. Okay, H does have 4 right angles, so H is one of the correct choices. Okay, I, this is less than 90, this is greater than 90, this is less than 90, this is greater than 90. Over here we have, could be, I think it's less than. This is also less, I believe. This is greater. And this is greater. So it's hard to see them. This one is less. This one is greater. This one is greater. And this one is less. This one is less, greater, greater, and less. So we ended up with B, C, F, and H with polygons with right angles. So I'm going to do another one. I'll do C. And finally, polygons with 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. So now we're only looking at these 4, B, C, F, H. And we see that B has 2 sides that are longer than 2 sides that are shorter. So that can't be it. For C, we see that all the sides are about the same length. So C is correct. We're going to look at F. F has all the sides the same length. So F is correct. And finally, H has 2 bigger sides and 2 small sides, so that's not one of them. So we end up with C and F, and we just go ahead, and we already did C and F drawing, but we'll do another F drawing. And that's what your page should look like. So number 2 says to write the letters of the polygons that are quadrilaterals. Explain how you know these polygons are quadrilaterals. So all of the polygons are quadrilaterals because they all had 4 sides. So we're going to say all the polygons are quadrilaterals. They all have 4 sides and 4 angles. Next, it says sketch a polygon below from the group that has 2 sets of parallel sides. Trace one pair of parallel sides red and trace the other pair of parallel sides blue. What makes parallel sides different from sides that are not parallel? So from that group, you have the choices of B, C, F, G, H, I, or L. So I'm going to pick H. And here's the red. So that's one pair of opposite sides. And here's my blue. Alright. Sorry that my lines are not super straight. And there you go. 2 pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. What makes the parallel sides different from sides that are not parallel is these lines won't intersect each other. Draw a diagonal line from one corner to the opposite corner of each polygon you drew in the chart. Use a straight edge. What new polygons did you make by drawing the diagonal lines? Okay, so diagonal lines. So let's see. This one here, this one here, this one here, here, and here. And we basically made triangles on all of them. So what new polygons did you make? 2 triangles in each shape. So here you have to list as many attributes as you can to describe each polygon below. So here we're going to say it has 4 sides, 4 angles, 2 sets of parallel sides, and 4 equal sides. We can't say that it has right angles because it doesn't. And that's about it for that one. Now for this one, you can say 4 sides, 4 angles. It has 1 pair of parallels, so these are parallel, but these are not parallel because eventually, if these lines continued, they would touch eventually somewhere probably up here. So these are not parallel, but these are parallel. So it has 1 set of parallel sides. And it does not have 4 equal sides, and it does not have right angles. So that's about it for this one. Now this is the homework side. If you want to pause your video to see if you can do it on your own, go ahead and pause the video now. Okay? If you did your work and you're coming to check, this is what we have now. So complete the chart by answering true or false. So 4 sides, true or false. This is true because 1, 2, 3, 4. So true. 2 sets of parallel sides. So if you look here, this should be parallel to this. So they should never touch. this is parallel to this. So they will never touch. So this is also true. 4 right angles. So if we look here, I don't see any right angles. These are 2 less than a right angles, and these are 2 greater than a right angle. So this is false. Quadrilateral. Well, quadrilateral means 4 sides, 4 angles, and here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. So this is true. Last page. Each quadrilateral below has at least 1 set of parallel sides. Trace each set of parallel sides with a colored pencil. So I'm just gonna use my blue and red. So this side is parallel with this side. And you have this side is parallel with this side. Kind of made a cool drawing. This side is parallel with this side. Turn this side is parallel with this side. Finally, this side is parallel with this side, and this side is parallel with this side. Miss Rabukas would be so proud. Okay, using a straight edge, sketch a different quadrilateral with at least 1 set of parallel sides. So I'm not going to use a straight edge because I'm holding a camera, but here we go. Just going to draw a rectangle because that's easy. And you're done.